The ship landed on the alien planet with a soft thump. Park Jin-ho looked out the window and saw a world that was nothing like Earth. The sky was purple. The trees were silver. Everything looked like a dream, but it was real. Jin-ho was a young soldier from Korea. He was 28 years old, not very tall, with short black hair and kind eyes. He never wanted to be famous. He just wanted to do his job and go home. But today, his simple life was about to change forever. "Remember," said Ambassador Yoon Mi-rae, "the Valari are very powerful. They control 7 star systems. Their technology is far beyond ours. We must be very careful. One wrong move could mean war." Jin-ho nodded. He understood. Earth needed this alliance. The Valari had ships that could cross the galaxy in days. They had weapons that could destroy planets. Humanity was like a small child standing next to a giant. The team walked out of the ship. There were 5 of them. Ambassador Yoon led the group. She was a woman in her 50s, with gray hair and sharp eyes. She had spent her whole life preparing for moments like this. Behind her walked Colonel Baek Sun-ho, a serious man who rarely smiled. Then came 2 other soldiers, and finally Jin-ho. Jin-ho's job was simple. He was supposed to stand guard, look professional, and say nothing. Easy enough. The Valari guards met them at the landing pad. These aliens were tall, nearly 12 feet high. Their skin was pale blue, almost white. Their eyes had no pupils, just swirling colors like galaxies trapped in glass. They wore armor that looked like crystal, and they carried weapons that hummed with strange energy. One of the guards spoke in a deep voice. "Follow us. The Queen is waiting." They walked through the city. Everything was beautiful and cold. The buildings were made of white stone and glass. There were no cars, no noise, no chaos. Everything was perfect. Too perfect. Jin-ho felt like he was walking through a museum where nothing was allowed to be touched. The palace stood at the center of the city. It was massive, bigger than any building Jin-ho had ever seen. The doors opened on their own, and the team stepped inside. The throne room was enormous. The ceiling was so high that Jin-ho could barely see it. Thousands of Valari stood on both sides, watching in complete silence. At the far end of the room sat the Queen. Queen Lyrian was different from the others. Her skin was not blue but soft violet, like the evening sky just after sunset. Her hair was long and silver, floating around her shoulders as if gravity did not affect it. Her eyes were the strangest of all. They looked like dying stars, filled with ancient light and deep sadness. She was beautiful. Jin-ho had never seen anyone so beautiful in his entire life. But there was something else too. Something cold. Something lonely. "Approach," the Queen commanded. Her voice was soft but powerful. It filled the entire room without effort. Ambassador Yoon walked forward and bowed deeply. "Your Majesty, thank you for receiving us. Earth is honored by your invitation." The Queen nodded slightly. "Humanity is young, but you have shown potential. We shall see if you are worthy of our alliance." The ceremony began. There were speeches and rituals and exchanges of gifts. Jin-ho stood at the back, trying to stay invisible. His legs were tired. The gravity on this planet was stronger than Earth's, and his body was not used to it. Every step felt heavy. Then it happened. A servant walked past Jin-ho carrying a large tray of drinks. The servant did not see Jin-ho, and Jin-ho did not see the servant. They collided. The tray flew into the air. Jin-ho stumbled backward. The floor was polished like ice. His boots could not find grip. He fell forward, arms reaching out for anything to stop his fall. His hand found something soft, something warm. Time stopped. Jin-ho looked up. His hand was on the Queen's hip. The entire throne room went silent, not quiet. Silent. Like all sound had been sucked out of the universe. The guards raised their weapons. The crystals on their armor began to glow red. Ambassador Yoon's face turned white. Colonel Baek reached for his own weapon. Knowing it would be useless, Jinho's heart stopped. He was going to die. He was going to die. And it would start a war. And millions of people would suffer because he had slipped on a stupid floor. He tried to speak. Your Majesty, I am so sorry. I did not mean to. But the Queen raised her hand. The guards froze. Everyone froze. Slowly, very slowly, Queen Lyrian looked down at Jinho's hand. Then she looked at his face. Her strange eyes studied him like he was a puzzle she had never seen before. Jinho waited for death. He waited for anger. He waited for cold fury from the most powerful being he had ever met. Instead, something unexpected happened. The Queen smiled. It was a small smile. Just a tiny curve of her lips. But it was real. And in that moment, Jinho saw something flash in her ancient eyes. Surprise, interest, and something else he could not name. Interesting, she said softly. No male has touched me uninvited in 300 cycles. 300 cycles. Jinho did not know how long that was in Earth years, but it sounded like a very long time. Guards, the Queen continued, lower your weapons. The guards hesitated. This had never happened before. But the Queen's word was law. Slowly, they lowered their weapons. This human, the Queen said, looking at Jinho with those impossible eyes. I wish to study him further. He will remain in the palace as my guest. Ambassador Yoon stepped forward carefully. Your Majesty, Lieutenant Park meant no disrespect. It was an accident. If you wish, we can punish him according to our customs. Did I ask for punishment? The Queen's voice turned cold. I said he is my guest. Do humans not understand hospitality? 2. Of course, Your Majesty. Forgive me. The Queen stood from her throne. She was taller than Jinho expected, nearly 7 feet. She walked past him, her gown flowing like liquid silver. Lieutenant Park, she said without looking back. That is your name, yes? Yes, Your Majesty. You have done something no one has done in 300 cycles. You have surprised me. She paused at the door. I do not yet know if that is good or bad, but I intend to find out. In Mater. Ogre. My 19Y. Ogre. Ogre. I 5 wells. She left. The doors closed behind her. Colonel Baek grabbed Jinho's arm. What did you do? He whispered fiercely. Jinho could only shake his head. I have no idea, sir. I just slipped. But deep in his heart, Jinho knew that his simple life was over. He had touched a queen. And for reasons he did not understand, she had smiled. The universe would never be the same. 3 days passed. Jinho sat in his room in the palace and waited. The room was beautiful. The bed was soft. The food was excellent. But it was still a prison. He could not leave. Guards stood outside his door at all times. They were polite, but firm. The Queen wishes you to stay, they said. That was the only explanation he received. On the 3rd night, his communication device buzzed. It was Colonel Baek, calling from the human ship, Lieutenant Park. The colonel's voice was cold and angry. Do you have any idea what you have done? Sir, it was an accident. I slipped. The floor was... I don't care about the floor, Colonel Baek shouted. You touched their queen. Their queen. Do you understand what that means? Jinho closed his eyes. Yes, sir. I understand. No, you don't. Let me explain. The colonel took a deep breath. The Valari have executed entire species for less. 100 years ago, an ambassador from the Fenari people accidentally stepped on the Queen's shadow. Her shadow. The Valari destroyed 3 Fenari colonies as punishment. Jinho felt sick. But, she smiled. She said she wanted to study me. That's what worries me. Colonel Bake's voice became quieter. The Valari do not smile. They do not show emotion. They consider feelings to be weakness. They removed emotions from their culture thousands of years ago. So why did she smile at you? Jingyu had no answer. Listen carefully, the colonel continued. Ambassador Yoon is working day and night to fix this mess. The treaty is in danger. Earth's future is in danger. You need to be very careful. Do whatever the Queen asks. Say whatever she wants to hear. Do not make things worse. Yes, sir. And Park? The colonel's voice softened just a little. Try not to die. You're a good soldier. The call ended. Jinho sat alone in the dark room. Outside his window, 2 alien moons rose into the purple sky. He had never felt so far from home. The next morning, a servant came to his door. The Queen requests your presence. Jinho followed the servant through long hallways. The palace was even bigger than he had realized. They walked for nearly 20 minutes before reaching a private garden. Unlike the rest of the planet, this garden had color: red flowers, green trees, a small pond with golden fish. Queen Lyrian sat on a stone bench beside the water. She wore a simple white dress today. No crown, no jewelry. She looked almost normal, almost human. Lieutenant Park. She gestured to the bench beside her. Sit. Jinho sat. His heart was beating fast, but he tried to stay calm. You are afraid, the Queen observed. Your heart rate has increased. Your skin is producing sweat. These are signs of fear in your species, yes? Yes, Your Majesty. Why are you afraid? I have not harmed you. Jinho chose his words carefully. Your Majesty, I touched you without permission. In your culture, that is a great crime. I expect punishment. The Queen tilted her head. And yet, I have not punished you. Does that confuse you? Do I? Yes, Your Majesty. Very much. She was quiet for a long moment. The fish swam in slow circles in the pond. A soft wind moved through the colored trees. Tell me about Earth, she finally said. Jinho blinked. Earth, Your Majesty? Yes, your planet, your home. Tell me about it. So Jinho talked. He told her about Korea, where he grew up. He told her about his mother's cooking and his father's small shop. He told her about the mountains and the ocean and the busy streets of Seoul. He told her about rain and snow and the way cherry blossoms fell in spring. The Queen listened without interrupting. Her strange eyes never left his face. And your people, she said when he finished. They are affectionate? Affectionate, Your Majesty. They touch each other. I have studied your broadcasts, your films and television programs. Humans are always touching, hugging, holding hands, kissing. She said the words like they were from a foreign language. Why? From. We nothers of I. We rending. Why? Jinho thought about it. No one had ever asked him this question before. It was like asking why people breathed. Because it feels good, Your Majesty. When someone you love touches you, it makes you feel safe. It makes you feel connected. Like you're not alone in the universe. The Queen looked away. For a moment, something crossed her face. Pain? Loneliness? Jinho could not tell. My species abandoned such practices long ago, she said quietly. We found them inefficient. Emotions make you weak. Attachments make you vulnerable. We removed these things from our culture. We became strong. We built an empire that spans 7 star systems. But? Jinho asked softly. She looked at him sharply. But? Forgive me, Your Majesty. But it sounds like you were going to say, but. The Queen was silent. Then, slowly, she nodded. You are perceptive, Lieutenant Park. Yes. There is a but. She looked at the fish in the pond. We are strong. We are efficient. We are powerful. But we are also empty, cold, like these fish. They swim in circles forever. They eat. They sleep. They exist. But do they live? Jinho did not know what to say. When you touched me, the queen continued, I felt something I had not felt in a very long time. Warmth. Physical warmth. Yes. But something more. Surprise. Interest. Curiosity. She turned to face him. You reminded me that I am alive. That I can still feel. I did not know if I still could. Your Majesty, my name is Lyrian, she said. When we are alone, you may use it. Jinho swallowed. That is a great honor. It is not honor. It is loneliness. Her voice was soft now, almost vulnerable. I have ruled this empire for 200 years. I have not had a real conversation in 150. Everyone is afraid of me. Everyone says what they think I want to hear. But you did not mean to touch me. It was an accident. And in that accident, I saw truth. She stood from the bench and walked to the edge of the pond. Her reflection looked back at her from the still water. I want you to teach me, she said. Teach you, your Maj Lyrian? Yes. Teach me about human connection, about warmth, about touch, about all the things my species has forgotten. She turned to face him. Will you do this? Jinho thought about Colonel Bake's orders. Do whatever the queen asks. But this was more than that. This was a lonely being asking for help. How could he refuse? Yes, he said. I will try. For the second time, Queen Lyrian smiled. And this time, Jinho smiled back. Far away, on the human ship, Ambassador Yoon received a message. The queen had decided. Lieutenant Park would remain in the palace. The treaty discussions would continue. Earth was safe. For now, but Ambassador Yoon worried. She had studied the Valari for 30 years. She knew their history. She knew their laws. And she knew one thing that Jinho did not know. The last time a Valari queen became interested in an outsider, it had started a war that lasted 100 years. History, it seemed, was about to repeat itself. The lessons began the next day. Every morning, Jinho met the queen in her private garden. Every morning, he taught her something new about being human. The first lesson was about handshakes. This is how humans greet strangers, Jinho explained. He extended his hand toward her. You take my hand and squeeze gently. Then, you move your hands up and down, like this. Lyrian looked at his hand like it was a strange animal. Slowly, carefully, she took it. Your hand is warm, she said. Yours is cool, Jinho replied. But not cold. It's nice. They shook hands. It was awkward and formal, but it was a start. What does this mean? Lyrian asked. This handshake? It means hello. It means I am glad to meet you. It also means I come in peace. I am showing you my empty hand. So you know I have no weapon. Lyrian nodded. That is practical. I understand the logic. But it is more than logic, isn't it? Yes. It's also about connection. For a moment, we are touching. We are sharing warmth. We are not strangers anymore. Day by day, the lessons continued. Jinho taught her about bowing, the Korean way of showing respect. He taught her about the small touches friends share, like a pat on the shoulder or a gentle elbow nudge. He taught her about the way families sit close together, sharing space and warmth. The Valari court watched in horror. This is wrong, whispered the advisors. The queen is being corrupted. She is learning primitive behaviors, said the generals. She is becoming weak. But But no one dared to say these things out loud. The queen's word was law. If she wanted to learn human customs, then that was her choice. Only one person was brave enough to speak. High Counselor Varath was old, older than the queen herself. He had served the throne for 300 years, through 4 different rulers. His skin was dark gray, almost black, and his eyes were like deep holes into space. "Your Majesty," he said one evening after the lesson had ended, "I must express my concern." Lyrian sat on her throne, tired but somehow more alive than she had been in years. "The human is influencing you. I see changes in you. Changes that worry me." "What kind of changes?" Varath stepped closer. "You smiled yesterday. During the council meeting. You actually smiled. Is smiling a crime now? It is inefficient." Varath's voice was cold. "Emotions cloud judgment. We removed them from our society for good reason. We were weak before. We were ruled by feelings and passions. We fought wars over love and hate. We destroyed ourselves. It took us 1,000 years to rebuild, to become strong, to create the empire. I remember the history, Varath. Then remember what it teaches us." He leaned closer. "The human must go. Before it is too late." Lyrian's eyes flashed with anger. "You forget yourself, Counselor. I am the queen. I decide who stays and who goes." Varath bowed his head. "Of course, Your Majesty. Forgive me. I only wish to protect you." He left. But his words stayed in the air like poison. That night, Jinho could not sleep. He walked through the palace halls, looking at the strange art on the walls. Everything was beautiful, but sad. Paintings of battles, sculptures of lonely figures. Nothing warm, nothing alive. He found Lyrian in the garden, sitting alone in the moonlight. "You should be sleeping," she said without turning around. "So should you." She laughed softly. It was a small laugh, almost like a cough. But it was real. "I was thinking about what you taught me today," she said. "The thing about holding hands with, what did you call them?" "Romantic partners." Jinho felt his face grow warm. "Yes. That. Show me." "What?" She turned to face him. Her violet skin glowed softly in the moonlight. Her star-filled eyes looked into his. "Show me how romantic partners hold hands." Jinho's heart beat faster. "Your Majesty. Lyrian. I'm not sure that's appropriate. I'm just a soldier. You're a queen. We're from different species, different worlds. I am not asking you to marry me, Lieutenant Park." A small smile crossed her face. "I am asking you to hold my hand." "Is that so difficult?" Jinho took a deep breath. Slowly, he reached out and took her hand in his. But this time, he did not shake it. He held it gently. He interlocked his fingers with hers. He let their palms press together. Lyrian's breath caught in her throat. "It is warm," she whispered. "So warm. I did not know how cold I was until now." They sat together in silence, hands joined, watching the moons cross the sky. Somewhere in the palace, attendants saw them. They ran to tell others. Within an hour, the entire court knew. The queen was holding hands with the human, like a lover, like a romantic partner. The scandal spread like fire. "This is worse than I thought," Varath said to his allies. "She is not just learning. She is feeling. She is caring. If this continues, she will destroy everything we have built." "What can we do?" asked one of the generals. "She is the queen." Varath's dark eyes grew darker. "Every queen can be replaced. Every queen can fall." Back in the garden, Jinho felt something he had not expected to feel. Peace. For the first time since arriving on this alien world, he was not afraid. "Lyrian," he said softly. "Yes, when you smile, when you laugh, when you feel things." Lyrian thought about it. She looked at their joined hands. She looked at the moons. She looked at the stars. "No," she finally said. "I feel alive. For the first time in 200 years, I feel alive." She squeezed his hand gently. "Thank you, Jinho. Thank you for reminding me what it means to live." Jinho squeezed back. "Thank you for trusting me." They stayed in the garden until dawn. Neither of them slept. Neither of them wanted to let go. Far away, on the human ship, Ambassador Yoon received intelligence reports about unrest in the Valari court. Factions were forming. Some supported the Queen's new interest in humanity. Many did not. "We may need to evacuate soon," she told Colonel Baek. "Things are getting dangerous." "What about Lieutenant Park?" Ambassador Yoon shook her head sadly. "I don't know if we can save him. The Queen won't let him go. And if we try to take him by force..." "Ah, it means war." "Yes, it means war." Colonel Baek stared out the window at the alien city. Somewhere in that palace, one of his soldiers was teaching a queen how to feel. And that lesson might cost them all, everything. "Come on, Park," he whispered to himself. "Don't get us all killed." 2 weeks passed. The treaty talks continued. Ambassador Yoon worked day and night to secure Earth's future. But behind the scenes, something dark was growing. High Counselor Varath met with his allies in secret. They gathered in an underground room, far from the Queen's eyes and ears. There were 12 of them. Generals, nobles, advisors. All of them were old. All of them remembered the Valari way. "The Queen has lost her mind," Varath said. "She spends every day with the human. She smiles. She laughs. Yesterday, I heard her singing." "Singing?" One of the generals looked horrified. "But singing was banned 500 years ago. It was considered too emotional." "Exactly." Varath slammed his fist on the table. "The human is corrupting her. He is turning her into something weak, something primitive. If this continues, the Empire will fall." "What do you suggest?" asked a noble named Torith. "We cannot simply remove the Queen. She is beloved by the people." "Is she?" Varath smiled coldly. "The people love her strength. They love her power. But will they love a queen who holds hands with aliens? Will they love a queen who laughs and sings like a child?" The room fell silent. "I have a plan," Varath continued. "The unity ceremony is in 3 days. This ceremony will formalize the treaty between Earth and our empire. Thousands will attend. The Queen will be there. The human will be there." He leaned forward. "What if the human attacked the Queen during the ceremony? What if he tried to kill her, but our brave guards stopped him just in time?" "But the human would never attack her," said one advisor. "He seems to care for her. The human will not attack her. But everyone will believe that he did." Varath's smile grew wider. "I have assassins. Good ones. They will strike during the ceremony. They will use human weapons. Human technology. Everyone will see the attack. Everyone will believe that humans are violent, dangerous, creatures who cannot be trusted." "And the Queen?" asked Torith. "She will be saved by our guards. She will be frightened, shaken. She will realize that humans are not friends, but enemies. She will end the treaty. She will execute the human, and she will remember what it means to be Valari." The conspirators nodded slowly. The plan was cruel. The plan was evil. But it would work. "What about the other humans?" asked a general. "Their ambassador, their soldiers? Unfortunate casualties." Varath waved his hand. "We will express our sadness. We will say, it was a tragedy. But in the end, the humans will be gone, and our Queen will be pure again." The meeting ended. The conspiracy was set in motion. But Varath had made one mistake. He had forgotten about the young ones. Kira was a junior advisor in the Queen's court. She was young by Valari standards. only 80 years old. Unlike the elders, she had grown up watching human broadcasts. She had seen their films, their television shows, their music videos. She found humans fascinating. They are so messy, she once told her friends. They cry and laugh and love and hate, sometimes all in the same day. It is inefficient, but it is also beautiful. Her friends thought she was strange. Her parents worried about her. But Kira did not care. She believed that the Valari had lost something important. She believed that emotions were not weakness, but strength. When Kira heard about Varath's conspiracy, she knew she had to act. She found Jinho in the garden the next morning. He was alone, waiting for the Queen, Lieutenant Park. She approached him quickly, looking over her shoulder. "I must speak with you. It is urgent." Jinho stood. "Who are you?" "My name is Kira. I am a junior advisor, and your life is in danger." She told him everything. The secret meeting. The assassination plan. Varath's intention to blame humans for the attack. Jinho listened with growing horror. "We have to tell the Queen." "Yes. But we must be careful. Varath has spies everywhere. If he learns that we know, he will move faster. He might kill you before the ceremony." "Then what do we do?" Kira thought for a moment. "The Queen trusts you. Tell her privately. Do not let anyone else hear. And..." She hesitated. "There might be a way to turn this against Varath." "How?" "Varath thinks humans are alone. He thinks Earth has no allies in our empire. But he is wrong." Kira's eyes brightened. "I have been communicating with other species in the empire, the Finari, the people of Ixal, the water dwellers of Kesh Prime. They all remember what the Valari were before. They all want change." Jinho shook his head. "I am just a soldier. I do not know how to build alliances. You do not need to build them. I have already done that." Kira smiled. "I just need someone to stand at the center. A symbol. A human. Who taught a queen how to feel again. That is you, Lieutenant Park. You are the symbol." Meanwhile, Varath was working on his own plans. He visited the human ship in person, asking to speak with Colonel Bake. "Colonel," Varath said smoothly, "I come to offer you a deal." Colonel Bake did not trust him. "What kind of deal?" "Remove Lieutenant Park from the equation. Send him back to Earth. Say he is sick, or needed elsewhere. I do not care what excuse you use. Just remove him. And if I do, then the Valari Empire will offer Earth very favorable trade terms. Technology, resources, protection. Your people will benefit greatly." 17. Colonel Bake's face was stone. Varath's expression darkened. "Then humanity will face the might of the Empire. We have destroyed species before, Colonel. We will do it again. We. Colonel Bake stood up from his chair. He walked to the window and looked out at the alien sky. Then, he turned back to Varath. "Get off my ship." "Excuse me?" I said, "Get off my ship." The colonel's voice was hard as iron. "You think I will throw away one of my soldiers for political convenience? You think I will betray a good man because you asked nicely? I am offering you everything. You are offering me nothing." Colonel Bake stepped closer. "Lieutenant Park is following orders. He is representing humanity with honor. He has done nothing wrong, and I will not sacrifice him because some alien politician is afraid of change." Varath's face twisted with anger. "You are making a mistake, Colonel. A very big mistake. Maybe. But it is my mistake to make." Colonel Bake opened the door. "Now leave, before I have you thrown out." Ah. Varath left, but his anger was burning. These humans were more stubborn than he had expected. More loyal. More dangerous. Fine. he muttered to himself as he walked back to the palace. If they want to die together, they will die together. That evening, Jinho met with the queen in her private chambers. He told her everything Kira had revealed. He told her about the conspiracy, about Veroth's plan, about the danger. Lyrian listened in silence. When Jinho finished, he expected cold calculation. He expected her to think about politics, about power, about strategy. Instead, he saw rage, true rage, deep rage, the kind of rage that had been buried for 200 years. He would use my interest in your species against me? Her voice was quiet, but the room seemed to shake. Against you? Lyrian, my life is not worth a war. If you need to send me away to keep the peace, you do not decide your worth. Her voice exploded through the room. The walls themselves seemed to tremble. I decide. I am the queen, and I have decided that you are significant. She stepped closer. Her hand reached out and touched his face. Her fingers were cool against his warm skin. You asked me once why I did not execute you for touching me. I did not have an answer then. I do now. What is it? I was dying, Jinho. Her voice softened. Not my body. My body will last for centuries more. But my soul, my heart, whatever you humans call it, I was dying inside. Cold, empty, efficient. She said the word like a curse. Your touch reminded me that efficiency is not the same as living. Tears formed in her ancient eyes. Tears she had not cried in 200 years. I will not let Veroth take that from me. I will not let him take you. Jinho took her hand in his. Then we fight together. Whatever comes. Lyrian nodded. Together, the war for the soul of an empire had begun. The day before the unity ceremony, Jinho barely slept. There was too much to do. Too much to plan. Too much that could go wrong. Kira worked through the night, sending secret messages to her allies across the empire. The Fenari ambassador agreed to attend the ceremony. Representatives from Ixal and Kesh Prime would be there too. For the first time in centuries, the subjects of the Velari Empire would stand united. But why? Jinho asked her. Why do these species want to help? The Velari have ruled them for thousands of years. Kira's face grew sad. Because they remember. They remember what the Velari were before. When my ancestors first met the other species, we were not cold. We were not empty. We shared music with the Fenari. We traded art with Ixal. We danced under the triple moons with the water dwellers of Kesh Prime. What happened? Fear. Kira looked out the window, at the cold, perfect city. There was a great war. Long ago. We lost many people. Our leaders decided that emotions had made us weak, that love and joy and connection had left us open to attack. So, they removed those things. They bred them out of us. They punished anyone who showed feeling. That is horrible. That is survival. Or so we told ourselves. Kira turned back to Jinho. But the other species never forgot what we were. They have been waiting for the Velari to remember. And now, thanks to you, the queen is starting to remember. Meanwhile, Lyrian was preparing for the ceremony in her own way. She called a private meeting with her most trusted guards. These were not Varath's people. These were soldiers who had served her personally for decades. Tomorrow, there will be an assassination attempt, she told them. High Counselor Varath has planned it. He will try to kill the human and blame it on his own species. The guards were shocked. Varath? He has served the throne for 300 years, and in 300 years, he has forgotten what it means to serve. Lyrian's voice was cold iron. I want you to be ready. When the attack comes, you will stop it. You will protect the human. And you will arrest Varath. Yes, Your Majesty. One more thing. Lyrian's expression softened. Whatever happens tomorrow, I want you to know that I am grateful. You have been loyal to me. Not because you were afraid, but because you believed. That kind of loyalty is rare. That kind of loyalty is human. The guards exchanged confused glances. Human? Was that a compliment now? That evening, Jinho visited Ambassador Yoon on the human ship. He told her everything. The conspiracy, the plan, the allies they had gathered. Ambassador Yoon listened with wide eyes. You have been busy. Lieutenant, I had help. Jinho smiled. Kira is remarkable. She has spent years building relationships with other species. Without her, none of this would be possible. And the Queen? She trusts you completely? Jinho paused. Yes, she does. Jinho. Ambassador Yoon leaned forward. I need to ask you something. And I need you to be honest with me. Not as a soldier to a diplomat, but as a human to another human. Yes? Do you have feelings for her? For the Queen? Jinho did not answer immediately. He thought about Lyrian's smile. Her laugh. The way her eyes looked like dying stars. The way she held his hand in the garden. I do not know, he finally said. She is not human. She is not even close to human. But when I am with her, I feel something. Something I have never felt before. Is it love? I do not know what love feels like across species, but I know that I want her to be happy. I know that I would risk my life to protect her. I know that when she smiles, it feels like the sun coming out after a long winter. He looked at Ambassador Yoon. The ambassador smiled sadly. It sounds like it might be. Then yes, maybe I do love her. Ambassador Yoon stood up and walked to the window. Earth was invisible from here, millions of miles away. But she could still feel it. Home. You know that this might not end well, she said quietly. Even if we stop Varath, even if the treaty goes through, you and the Queen, you come from different worlds, different species, different lifetimes. I know. She will live for centuries. You will be gone in decades. I know. And you still want to do this? Jinho nodded. Yes, because even if it is short, even if it is difficult, even if it ends in pain, it will be real. It will be true. And that is worth more than 1,000 years of being safe and cold and alone. Ambassador Yoon turned to face him. There were tears in her eyes. You really have changed, Lieutenant. When you first arrived on this planet, you just wanted to do your job and go home. Now look at you. I slipped on a floor, Jinho said with a small smile. Everything changed because I slipped on a floor. No. Ambassador Yoon shook her head. Everything changed because you were kind. You were warm. You were human. The Queen saw something in you that she had not seen in 300 years. That is not an accident. That is who you are. The night passed. Morning came. The unity ceremony was about to begin. Jinho dressed in his finest uniform. He looked at himself in the mirror. He did not look like a hero. He looked like a young Korean soldier who was very far from home. But maybe that was enough. Maybe you did not need to be a hero. Maybe you just needed to be yourself. A knock on the door. Kira entered. It is time. Are you ready? No, Jinho admitted. But I will go anyway. That is very human of you. Is that a compliment? Kira smiled. It is. They walked together toward the great hall. The ceremony was about to begin. History was about to change. Lyrian stood at the entrance to the throne room. She wore her full royal dress today, a gown of silver and starlight that flowed around her like water. Her crown sat on her head, heavy with the weight of 7 star systems. But when she saw Jinho, her face changed. The weight lifted. The coldness melted. She extended her hand to him. Walk with me, she said. Whatever happens today, I want you by my side. Jinho took her hand. Their fingers interlocked, warm and cool together. Always, he said. The doors opened. The ceremony began. Thousands of Villari filled the great hall. Representatives from every subject species stood in the galleries. The humans were there too. Ambassador Yoon, and Colonel Bake, and every member of the diplomatic team. And in the shadows, Verath's assassins waited. Their weapons were hidden. Their orders were clear. Kill the human. Blame it on humanity. Start a war. Lyrian and Jinho walked down the central aisle together, hand in hand. The crowd gasped. This was not protocol. This was not proper. The queen was holding hands with an alien. In public. But Lyrian did not care. She walked with her head high, and her heart open. She was done being cold. She was done being alone. She was done being efficient. Today, she chose to live. And whatever came next, she would face it with the human who had taught her how. The great hall was full. More people than Jinho could count filled every corner. Velari nobles in their crystal armor. Fenari diplomats with their feathered wings. Water dwellers from Kesh Prime in their special breathing suits. Moth people from Ixal with their beautiful, glowing eyes. And humans. A small group, but proud. Ambassador Yoon stood at the front, her gray hair shining under the lights. Colonel Bake stood beside her, straight and tall in his uniform. They were outnumbered 1,000 to 1, but they did not show fear. Lyrian led Jinho to the raised platform at the center of the hall. This was where the treaty would be signed. This was where Earth and the Velari Empire would become allies. This was where Verath planned to destroy everything. Citizens of the Empire, Lyrian began, her voice filling the hall. We gather today to welcome a new species into our family. Humanity is young. They have been traveling the stars for only a few centuries. They are small. They have no great weapons. They have no vast fleets. The crowd murmured. Some of the Velari nobles smirked. What did these primitive beings have to offer? But they have something else. Lyrian continued. Something we have forgotten. Something we have removed from ourselves. In the name of efficiency and strength. She paused. The hall went silent. They have warmth. They have connection. They have the courage to feel, even when feeling brings pain. Verath stood in the back of the hall, watching with growing anger. This was not what he expected. The queen was supposed to be formal, cold, proper. Instead, she was praising human weakness. For 200 years I have ruled this empire, Lyrian said. I have been strong. I have been powerful. I have been efficient. But I have also been alone. I have been cold. I have been dying. Not in body, but in spirit. Gasps rose from the crowd. The queen was showing weakness. The queen was admitting failure. Then a young human soldier slipped on my floor. Lyrian smiled. His hand touched my hip. It was an accident. A moment of clumsiness. But in that moment, I felt something I had not felt in centuries. I felt alive. She turned to look at Jinho. This human has taught me that strength is not found in isolation. It is found in connection. Power does not come from being cold. It comes from having something worth warming. Verath could not wait any longer. He gave the signal. 3 assassins moved through the crowd. They wore the uniforms of palace servants. They carried weapons designed to look like human technology. They moved quickly, silently, toward the platform, but they did not get far. The Fenari ambassador stepped in front of the first assassin. His wings spread wide, blocking the path. No further, he said calmly. A water dweller from Kesh Prime grabbed the second assassin's arm. The suit hissed as water sprayed, knocking the weapon away. The moth people of Ixal surrounded the third assassin. Their glowing eyes were beautiful but fierce. The queen has spoken. We stand with her. Verath watched in horror. His plan was falling apart. How did the other species know? How were they prepared? He looked across the hall and saw Kira standing with the human soldiers. She was smiling at him. A small wave. A silent message. You are not as clever as you think. Verath. Lyrian's voice cut through the chaos. The hall went silent again. Come forward. Varath considered running. But there was nowhere to go. Guards blocked every exit. His allies had disappeared into the crowd, pretending they had never supported him. He walked to the platform, his old body heavy with defeat. High Counselor Varath, Lyrian said coldly, you have served the throne for 300 years. You have given your life to the Empire. And today, you tried to kill an innocent man. You tried to start a war. You tried to destroy the peace we have worked so hard to build. I was trying to protect you, Varath shouted. I was trying to save the Empire. These humans are corrupting you. They are making you weak. No. Lyrian shook her head. They are making me strong. For the first time in 200 years, I have something to fight for. I have something to protect. I have something to love. The word echoed through the hall. Love. A word that had not been spoken in the throne room for centuries. You see weakness in emotion, Lyrian continued. But you are wrong. It takes strength to feel. It takes courage to connect. It takes bravery to open your heart. When opening your heart means it might be broken, she stepped closer to Varath. You have forgotten what it means to be alive. You have forgotten what it means to be Valari. We were not always cold, Varath. Once, we danced and sang and loved. Once, we were connected to the universe around us. You remember. You were there. Varath's face twisted. Tears formed in his ancient eyes. Tears he had not cried in 500 years. It hurt, he whispered. When we felt things, it hurt. The war took everyone I loved. I could not bear it. We could not bear it. So we removed the pain. We removed the feeling. We removed everything. I know. Lyrian's voice softened. I know why we became this way. I understand the fear. But we cannot live in fear forever. We cannot survive by refusing to live. She turned to face the crowd. Today, I make a choice. Not just for myself, but for all of us. We will feel again. We will connect again. We will remember what it means to be alive. It will be difficult. It will hurt. But it will be real. She extended her hand to Jinho. Lieutenant Park Jinho, will you stand with me? Will you show my people what it means to reach out? Jinho took her hand. The crowd watched. Thousands of eyes from dozens of species. I will, he said. They stood together on the platform, hand in hand. Human and Valari. Mortal and immortal. Two beings from different worlds, connected by something simple and powerful and true. Ambassador Yoon wiped tears from her eyes. Colonel Bake nodded slowly. Kira clapped her hands. And soon, others joined her. The Fenari, the Ixalians, the Keshians, even some of the younger Valari. Applause filled the hall. Real applause. Genuine feeling. Varath watched it all. His conspiracy had failed. His world was changing. Everything he had believed for 500 years was crumbling. But as he watched the Queen hold the human's hand, as he heard the applause echo through the hall, he felt something he had not felt in centuries. Hope. Maybe, he thought, this is not the end of the Empire. Maybe this is the beginning of something new. He did not fight when the guards came to take him away. He went quietly, carrying that small spark of hope with him into exile. The unity ceremony continued. The treaty was signed. Earth and the Valari Empire became allies. But more than that, something had changed. Something had awakened. Something that had been sleeping for 1,000 years. The Valari were learning to feel again. And it all started because a young Korean soldier slipped on a floor. 6 months passed. The universe changed. Varath was exiled to the outer reaches of the Empire, to a small moon where he could spend the rest of his long life alone with his thoughts. It was a mercy, some said. Others thought it was punishment worse than death. But Lyrian believed in second chances. Perhaps, in time, even Varath might learn to feel again. The treaty between Earth and the Valari Empire became something no one had expected. It was not just an alliance of ships and technology. It was an exchange of souls. Human counselors were invited to every major Valari world. They did not teach politics or warfare. They taught connection. They taught empathy. They taught the simple art of caring for each other. It was not easy. Centuries of emotional suppression could not be undone overnight. Many Valari struggled with feelings they had never experienced. Some became angry. Some became sad. Some felt nothing at all and wondered if they were broken. But slowly, step by step, things changed. A Valari mother held her child for the first time instead of handing it to a machine. A Valari couple walked through a garden holding hands, something their species had not done in 1,000 years. A Valari musician picked up an ancient instrument, covered in dust, and played the first song the Empire had heard in 5 centuries. It was awkward. It was imperfect. But it was real. In return, the Valari shared their technology with Earth. Ships that could cross galaxies in days. Medical machines that could cure diseases thought incurable. Energy systems that were clean and unlimited. Knowledge that would take humanity hundreds of years to develop on their own. But the greatest gift was simpler than technology. The Valari taught humans that they were not alone. That the universe was vast and strange and full of wonders. That there were other beings out there who wanted to connect, to share, to understand. Jinho was offered everything a hero could want. Promotions, commands, wealth, medals. His name was known across 7 star systems. He was the human who had changed the universe. He declined it all. "I am not a hero," he told Colonel Bake. "I am just a soldier who slipped on a floor." "You are the man who reminded an empire how to feel," Bake replied. "That is worth more than any medal." "Maybe. But I do not need rewards for being kind. Kindness should be its own reward." Bake smiled. It was the first time Jinho had ever seen him smile. "You have changed, Park. When you first joined my unit, you were just a kid trying to survive. Now look at you." "I had help." Jinho thought of Lyrian. He thought of Kira. He thought of all the people who had believed in him when he did not believe in himself. That evening, Jinho walked through the palace gardens one last time. The human diplomatic team was leaving tomorrow. Their mission was complete. Earth was safe. The future was bright. He found Lyrian by the pond, watching the golden fish swim in their endless circles. "You are leaving," she said without turning around. "Yes, my work here is done." "Is it?" She turned to face him. Her violet skin glowed in the setting sun. Her star-filled eyes held depths he would never fully understand. "I do not think it is." "What do you mean?" She stepped closer. "You could rule beside me, Jinho. Not as a servant. Not as an advisor. As a partner. As the one who taught me that vulnerability is not weakness." Jinho's heart ached. "I am not a king, Lyrian. I am just me. A simple soldier from Korea. I do not know how to rule an empire." "Neither did I. When I began." She smiled. "I learned. You could learn too, but I will not live forever. Your species lives for thousands of years. I will be gone in decades." "Yes." Lyrian nodded. "That is true. You will grow old. You will die. And I will continue. I have thought about this. I have thought about it every day. For 6 months. And I have decided that decades with you are worth more than centuries without you." She took his hands in hers. "Every moment with you has been more real, more alive, more meaningful than 200 years of empty existence. I do not want efficiency anymore. I want truth. I want feeling. I want you." Jinho could not speak. His eyes filled with tears. "You humans cry when you are happy," Lyrian observed. I never understood that. But now, I think I do. Sometimes, the feeling is too big for the body to hold. It spills out. Yes. Jinho's voice was thick. That is exactly what it is. Lyrian reached up and touched his face. Her cool fingers brushed away his warm tears. Stay with me, she said. Not forever. I know forever is not possible. But stay with me for now. Stay with me for tomorrow. Stay with me for whatever time we have. And when I am gone, then I will remember you. I will carry you with me through the centuries. I will tell stories about the human who taught me how to feel. And when I am sad, when I am lonely, when I miss you more than I can bear, I will be grateful. Because missing you will mean that I loved you, and loving you will mean that I was alive. She placed her hand on his hip, the same place his hand had touched on that first day. I believe you humans call this returning the gesture. Jinho laughed through his tears. And for the first time in her long life, Lyrian understood why laughter was the most human sound of all. It was the sound of joy escaping, the sound of souls connecting, the sound of two hearts finding each other across the impossible distance of stars. Yes. They stood together in the garden as the sun set and the moons rose. Two beings from different worlds. Two hearts beating as one. Behind them, the palace glowed with light. Somewhere inside, Kira was teaching a group of Villari children how to sing. Their voices were rough and uncertain, but they were singing. After 500 years of silence, they were singing. Far away, on Earth, people looked up at the night sky with new hope. They knew they were not alone anymore. They knew there were friends out there, waiting to be discovered. And across the empire, on 100 different worlds, beings of all species were reaching out to each other, touching, connecting, feeling. The universe was still vast and cold and full of darkness. But it was also full of light, full of warmth, full of the simple, powerful truth that no one has to be alone. All because a young man from Korea slipped on a floor. All because a lonely queen smiled. All because, in that single moment of accidental contact, two souls found each other. Humanity's greatest strength was never its weapons. It was never its technology. It was never its ambition. It was, and always had been, the simple courage to reach out and touch another soul. And that courage would carry them to the stars. The end.